I think let me watch Soggy Cereal's The Pirate Software Unraveling.
As a game developer who worked as game engine and tools developer on Helldivers 2, I've always had a special interest in YouTube's gaming and game developer community. While learning C++ programming, I watched Cherno. Danny was my go-to for game design, and for math and physics, I just smashed my head into a wall. However, one I always avoided was pirate software. No, not the practice. I did that when I was a kid. I'm talking about the content creator pirate software.
They can eat my entire ass.
Also, Nicky.
Okay. I want to say, Pirate Software is a guy who, from what I've seen, has good vibes. He has good vibes. Now, do we want to theorize that there is some latent bad vibes? I could buy into that theory. But I decline and refuse blind hatred of him. I refuse. I want not bad faith hate. Not bad faith critiques. Okay? If we were going to criticize him, just as we should criticize anyone, we're not going to just do it based on bad vibes. You can dislike him for bad vibes. I'll allow that. I can't stand in the way of that. But I will not believe you or be persuaded by you if you don't present good faith argument. So this starting off so far, it seemed bad faith to me. It seemed he hasn't provided good faith. And I don't know. Maybe this is whatever. Maybe this is a bad video about this. This is just the video I've chosen to watch about it in the Stop Killing Games, whatever, but
Thor. Some of you may know Thor as Guy, who explained very simple basic concept with serious voice and big words in MS Paint, making him seem like very smart person.
yeah, I do know him as that. No, but sometimes he does explain complex shit, so I kind of like it. The MS Paint thing is also revolutionary. I'll say MS Paint thing kind of revolutionary for explaining shit. It's very useful.
And that, dear viewer, is how you kidnap children. Maybe you know him as Guy who allegedly cheats in puzzle game streams to seem more of an intellectual.
He's being exposed for cheating puzzle game playthroughs now.
Yeah, if this is true, if this one is true, that's just embarrassing, dude. That's just embarrassing. If I have only seen speculation. This is just using Summit 1G talking about it without necessarily showing Summit 1G believing it. But like, this is the reading chat voice. It seems like, but that's a bad look. Cheating in puzzle. Look, we all cheat in puzzle games. We all do. But you gotta be honest about it. You gotta be honest. Okay? We all cheat. It happens. Our short attention spans have made it so that we're reluctant to keep slamming our head into a wall over and over again. It happens. You gotta be honest about it if you're turning into content.
So blowing up again.
You've possibly seen him blame
If we have that kind of a mistake again, I'm disbanding the party. I'm going to go run with other people because you guys cannot do that again.
That whole thing, I don't fucking know. WoW drama. I don't care. I haven't touched World of Warcraft, nor will I. Y'all can have your inner disputes about that.
rage,
God damn it, guys.
and wine.
Just lost 4 hours of crafting materials. Yeah, that kind of sucks.
WoW toxicity. Compartmentalize WoW toxicity. Out of these listings of grievances, so far, puzzle games is only the bad one to me. The WoW toxicity, it seems like toxicity, but that's WoW to me. It seems like everyone kind of goes a little batshit when it comes to WoW. That's why I don't touch it. I'm not trying to lose my life. I don't think I would be addicted to it, but I ain't trying to test that beast, But puzzle games one, that's bad because it's really just more reflective of your inability to like recognize that you are human, right? That your inability to be like, oh yeah, I am not as smart as I try to present myself, or I am not that smart and to realize that you have faults. But at least from what I've seen, it seems like all speculation for that. Admittedly, I've only really paid attention to none of them. I haven't actually paid attention to any of that.
Of course, I'm going to be a little bit upset about that.
Against a supportive view.
But him being whiny about losing 4 hours of progress, I can understand. That's WoW. I don't know. Fuck it. I'd be sad if I died after a 4-hour Minecraft hardcore run. I probably did.
Viewers for being terrible at a game after someone accidentally attacked an NPC called the Ocular, which then killed their entire team.
God damn it, guys. So one of you pulled the Ocular. Why? Now half the raid is dead. Oh, I swear to God, I'm gonna go back in the video and find out who pulled that damn thing and kick him out of the raid. That is insane shit. You have to be better than that. And we just lost all of those materials because you're not paying attention. This.
Okay. I don't like that you have to be better. Out of this, hey, I'm just looking at the evidence. Your Honor, I'm only being presented with this evidence now. Out of this, the only thing I disagree with is that you have to be better than that. I think that's a toxic thing to say. All the whining, I don't care. You can whine. You can kick him out of the party, whatever. You can get as mad as you want. You have to be better than that implies a kind of necessity to be a certain kind of human to be able to play a game. And that we cannot all have faults. We all have faults. It's normal. It's part of being a human. Okay? You have to be better than that. It's mean, and it's also in a demeaning context because he's talking down to a viewer. That's my complaint. That's my complaint. Okay.
This is basic shit. That is insane shit.
Yeah, how dare you attack the Ocular, you stupid, dumb, moronic.
Thor pulled it in a clip. Link.
Oh wait, what's that? He was the guy who wrongly attacked the Ocular? Making it his fault everyone died? Gee, I wonder how he's gonna apologize for being so toxic to his supportive viewer base for no reason whatsoever.
That's really bad. He has to mega fess up and be sorry.
I'm not at fault there. I'm correct there for doing that. 100%. That is not on me. No.
Okay, actually getting everyone killed and wasting 4 hours of time was a good thing. Now don't you dare question it or you'll get banned.
This guy sounds like he takes criticism well. You sound like you want to talk to me about it in the unban request.
Okay. The man's tilted. Is it a bad look? I don't know. WoW. If he did fuck up there, if that is his fault, that's a hilariously bad look. He shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have just said it wasn't me. He did the Shaggy, it wasn't me. You can't do that. That's not a get out of jail free card. You can't say it just made sense. Him banning the person and then saying in an unban request, that's the streamer's right. Now, do I think it's an ethical decision? It's messy. It's your chat room. You get to have it as you want. But simultaneously, it does show a inability to accept criticism. And the subtitles also imply the more unjustifiable. The fact that he's saying, talk to me in the unban request, he's tilted. Is it an impulse decision? Yeah, but...
You're just shit-stirring. I'm just going to get rid of you.
Swear to God, I'm going to go back in the video and find out who pulled that damn thing and kick him out of the raid. That is insane shit. You have to be better than that.
On Twitch, he's known as the kindest, most supportive, and knowledgeable game dev programmer. Even though he has threatened to sue an indie developer on false grounds, and his codebase would have made me fail my first year at university.
Okay, I need details. Because this is all shit that I've heard both sides about. And so I don't like this just one-sided.
For my game development bachelor.
Simplifying.
But if you don't know him from any of that, then you might know him as a guy who worked at Blizzard.
I worked at Blizzard. So when I first started at Blizzard, I worked at Blizzard for 7 years.
I know
he does talk about working at Blizzard for 7 years.
rarely mentions it. I'm just kidding. He mentions it all the time.
Blizzard. But for Blizzard, this is 100% your worst take ever? No, it's not. You know what I did before this? I worked at Blizzard Entertainment.
Now, having worked on Helldivers 2 at Arrowhead Game Studios, I understand taking pride in your work. Hell, I opened this video sharing that pride, and every few months, I'll rewatch my 5 seconds of delivering democracy in their April Fool's video. And now I'm a YouTuber and my entire life is an April Fool's video. Especially when my contract is making me do an ad read at the start of my video. Wait, no. With today's video sponsor Fume. Fume is a flavored air device designed to help grab yours today. As you'll see with Thor, there's a pattern where the line between pride and hubris start threading real thin. Especially when he's caught making a mistake, which I wouldn't have such a problem with if he just owned up to them. And if he wasn't so condescending whenever someone else makes one. But he doesn't.
I'm not at fault there. That is not on me.
And he is.
Eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to
Okay, is this about him? Or is this about fucking Stop Killing Games? I'm more interested in Stop Killing Games.
receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. A really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move.
Nonetheless, I never quite felt like making a video on him because everything bad he did always seemed trivially obnoxious in itself, but after what he has done to an initiative I deeply care for, well, now those toxic instances formed a pattern not just plaguing Thor, but one reminding me of everything I hated about the game development industry, which I wish to unravel. So let's start talking about
Stop killing games.
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 For the past decade or so, game publishers have taken it upon themselves to take the entire right of ownership of their games from the buyer's hands and keep it in their own hands with the use of licenses, making it so that if one day they now decide to pack up shop and go to the Bahamas, well, they can take away access from everyone who has ever bought their games. You can see this in the license agreements from scummy, greedy companies like Blizzard, saying Blizzard reserves the right to terminate this agreement at any time for any reason or for no reason with or without notice to you. EA states that if they decide to shut down a game or service, well, they'll tell you at least 30 days in advance, after which you can go fuck yourself, because after online service termination, they can't guarantee their games will continue to function. With Ubisoft, this license confirms no title or ownership in the product. Ubisoft may terminate this agreement at any time for any reason, and Ubisoft abused their practice in 2024 when they took their servers offline for racing game The Crew, a game with a mere 12 million registered players who now, after buying it, all lost access because you could not play without a server connection.
Okay, so fundamentally, I agree with the whole. If the Stop Killing Games is saying, stop this, you can't do this, then I agree with it. Sure, why not? I do understand a potential counter argument, which I don't know if Thor makes, which is this could. Like, if game makers and developers are obligated to always have a server running anytime they create a live service game or any kind of online game, they're, for in perpetuity required to keep a server running, I do understand how that could pose a bigger issue to smaller game designers. Because I don't know how like fucking Lethal Company or Schedule 1 work, right? I don't think it's that I am like I host it. I am the server host, but I don't think that it's like it's actually being hosted off of my IP address. I don't think it's like, if I create a lobby there, I don't think it's like my friends are actually connecting to my IP address. I think it's just that I am the server owner in a sense. And that there is, correct me if I'm wrong, and that there is some central server or whatever that the game dev presumably owns and manages, and then, the people are then connecting to that, and I'm just the owner of the designated IP address or whatever the fuck, So I could understand how, if then game developers are required to always in perpetuity keep up a server, that could then be intimidating to indie devs. Because let's say a game like, fucking Schedule 1, it doesn't blow up as big as it is, but it gets like 1,000 people who buy it, who do keep wanting to play it. Is the game developer then required or is Lethal Company, if the same thing were to happen to there, where it's just one dev, then legally required to make it so that then in perpetuity they have to have a server open, that they have to be providing a server? Because then that adds another consideration and another issue for indie devs who might want to make online games. I understand that as a bit of criticism. Now, as I was trying to explain that, I realized that you could presumably, possibly, I don't know how it would work, but you could make it so that the server, you could release some update if you're trying to be like, okay, I'm done with this game, I am wanting to move on to a different game, rather than just shutting it down as the normal developer might. You just say, we're releasing this update, so now the servers have to be like hosted manually, in a sense. That if you want to join lobbies, you have to have your friend actually host the server fully out of their like IP address, and then you connect to that. I guess that could work. I don't fully know. Why not? Who knows?
Causing immense community backlash. So inspired by the train wreck caused by the crew, or guess I should say car wreck, a passionate creator, Ross Scott, who runs a YouTube channel, Accursed Farms, started the Stop Killing Games initiative, with its current goal being to introduce European legislation that prevents publishers from leaving their games in an unplayable state at the end of their life cycle. All it asks is to just have publishers leave games in a reasonably functional and playable state before shutting them down. And
That is loose phrasing, which I'm not a fan of. It's a limit of the initiative. Should the initiative be passed, that phrasing could come to bite them in the ass, because it's like reasonably functional is subjective.
to even get this off the ground and in front of the eyes of European lawmakers, it needs at least 1 million signatures. Now, I care deeply for this.
So I believe it has gotten 1 million since like all this has erupted.
I signed the petition not only because I grew up my entire life playing video games, needing that escapism during a not so fun upbringing, but even if I didn't, I still believe in basic consumer rights. A publisher shouldn't have the ultimate decision to permanently take it out of existence just because it's not as profitable to the shareholders anymore. And I wish to believe most people share that ideology, including Pirate Software.
It's incredibly important to me that we keep making games and that the next generation has the tools to do so that our medium doesn't die out. And it never will. And that's the whole intention of all of this.
Of course he does. He's such a good guy. Wait, he said what 5 seconds later?
This is shit. It's shit. Oh shit, no, this is actually really dumb. That's awful, dude. Eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This shit sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then.
But why? Thor not just criticizes, but bashes and demonizes Stop Killing Games.
As you can imagine, we've been less than thrilled that Thor
Okay,
here has
show
become the
me
dominant
his-
voice of the campaign.
And I wouldn't have such a
Criticism.
problem with that if the majority wasn't straight up misinformation and there wasn't such a conflict of interest. See, the initiative wishes to see that any game that requires purchase or subscription fees and a server connection to remain playable after a company shuts down their server. This self-evidently includes live service games, which are games that continuously receive new content to keep higher player retention,
Right.
multiplayer games, and amongst other categories, single player games who now often, because companies hate us, require a constant or with interval server connection as anti-piracy measure, which we call a DRM. Damn you, Hello Kitty Island Adventure! So when Thor started saying things like,
For those who don't understand, the Stop Killing Games initiatives is basically we don't want single-player games to have DRM that the developers can turn off and thus render the single-player games inactive anymore. This is what they want to change.
or
It is vague. They need to be specific that they're talking about single-player games that do not need a server to support them.
misrepresenting to his millions of viewers that the initiative's language was too vague, that actually they're only referring to single player games with online DRM, which they aren't. That with this vague language it would ruin live service games.
Would have to sunset live service games as a single-player experience. The idea that suddenly you need to make every single live service game playable single-player offline? No, dude.
Correct. No.
Even though Stop Killing Games founder Ross Scott disproved that claim, Pirate Software are going as far as saying what the initiative is asking is so fucking stupid and outrageous, it may—
Okay, so Thor's criticism is that if you were to take a game like Helldivers, this is what it seems like his criticism. If you were to take a game like Helldivers, which is a live service game, but it functions off of multiplayer. His criticism is that the Stop Killing Games initiative would then force said companies to dedicate time to, once they want to end a game service, retrofit it so that it would work only single player. I guess that would be a solution, but I would think the other solution would be to have some server hosting thing, right?
made him angry like a little tiny toddler.
That video made me actually mad. Like real mad. Not like...
Okay, so I think a better comparison is think of like Minecraft, right? Assume Minecraft is only multiplayer. Let's say Minecraft had Realms from the start, which is the Minecraft provided multiplayer service. You know, you have to pay for it, but like forget about that for the moment. Let's say Minecraft at a certain point stopped providing that. They said, we're done. We're not going to keep providing it. Forgetting that they're single player. That's not a component. The better way that they did it, or I guess other games could do it, potentially, is how people can host their own servers. You know, other companies like Hypixel or Mindplex started up, which hosted their own servers, which people could then connect to, thereby keeping the game going, but making it so that the online functionality still kept up. So I guess what I'm wondering is, would the Stop Killing Games initiative provide it or promote similar things? Is it built like that? Are games built like that? I don't know. If Helldivers were to be like, okay, we're done adding new stuff to it, could it be set up? Are they trying to get it so that someone could then start their own Helldivers server in a way to host it? I guess is what I'm wondering.
Like fake memes mad, like actually mad. Like, I'm actually mad.
To the point he said he wasn't just not gonna back it, he was actively going to boycott this consumer right movement.
Not only do I not want to back this, I'm gonna actively tell people not to.
And so, people wondered why he'd do that? I mean, even Ross was interested in having a conversation about it and left a comment on Pirate Software's video to correct the
I think there's a combination of values misunderstanding. So it would need to be told at the front what would happen if it's ended.
misinformation he was spreading.
I mean, okay. I understand the criticism, right? What happens if you take a game like Helldivers, discontinue it? Is there a way for its server hosting to be democratized? Or would the developer, under Stop Killing Games, be forced to retrofit it to a single player experience? I can understand that criticism. However, maybe I'm missing something, but that either way seems better than just the game publisher being like, you don't own it and it just doesn't work. It's just gone. You don't own it. Haha. Like, it just does. Either way, that would be better. I can understand why it would be an issue, but it would still be better. Also, I'm sorry, Soggy Cereal. Please, you have sweat on your upper lip. Just please wipe it. It's your lighting. It just makes it shine a lot.
This comment got deleted and the request for a conversation denied.
I reached out to him.
Would you consider reaching out and talking to Ross about it? No. And the reason why is because I found his entire statement over the YouTube incredibly disingenuous. It's used car salesman garbage.
Yes, Thor, Ross Scott, the average used car salesman who spent
That's an ad hominem attack, and we don't We don't stand for those. Or at least they don't stand well. I tried to do the, like, I don't know, Naruto, but I don't actually know the show at all. That's a nothing. That's a nothing. That's a nothing. If he thinks it's a used car salesman, then why doesn't he just do it, like, as off-stream conversation? Like, what? That's a nothing. It's just trying to slam him. Also, you gotta give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Like, I see someone who I think is going used car salesman on me. I, as a human, in this human to human connection that we have as two individuals who are living on the planet, who are living in kind of the same society. I say kind of because, of course, one end of the United States is different than the other end, but like still you get the idea. As two humans who share the same fucking genetic combinations in our bones, genetic structuring, and who live in a society, we should guarantee the right of like, okay, I am not going to immediately assume you are scamming me. Maybe I misunderstood the vibe you were presenting. So let's have a conversation. Good faith, bad faith, whatever. Neutral faith conversation so that I can better understand you. Right? Thor is instead seemingly coming into this saying, I fully understand you off of your video, and I just outright disagree. And I think you're a shuckster, and whatever. And I can understand why he might come to that. Not from any first party knowledge. I can't say that from having watched the video myself, but I can understand watching something, being like, I have a full assessment of this, and I know exactly what it is. But you still should be a decent human being and provide some flexibility, dare I say.
Months to fight for consumer rights for free. I've seen him say some dumb, pretentious shit, but knowing the initiative doesn't even take donations, its founder being on YouTube even before it was profitable and has been advocating against killing games for at least 6 years, makes this one of the dumbest. See, but Thor works as a strategy director at a publishing company called Off-Brand.
Yeah, and so he's gone now. He's gone. He left, I think, like today or yesterday.
Games, and a publisher's goal is usually not to create or develop a product, but to make sure sales are as high as possible and that the product...
Okay, this is where I draw the line. Because now you're dogging Ludwig, okay? And I like Ludwig. Has he been in some drama recently in the past month or so? Which I've disagreed with how he's handled various dramas. Yes. And I'll say he's getting on my nerves a little bit recently. Because I don't like how he's handled some things recently. But I like Ludwig. And so I think, too, unfairly, I understand the argument that is being made that Thor is doing this out of his own self-interests because the Stop Killing Games initiative would be bad for him as a publisher. But I think it's throwing the baby out with the bathwater, if that makes sense. Because now you're coming for Ludwig. Now you're coming for this indie publishing company, which is small, very small, and you're trying to frame them as being equally, you know, as like EA or some shit. Now, with how this has been presented, I do understand better, because previously I saw Pirate Software leave Off-Brand, and I was like, why the fuck is he leaving? Like, really? It's mired in that much shit that it's like that important that he leaves? But the way this video has been presented, I'll say, even though it's very, very opinionated, and we can all handshake and understand that, considering the fact that it started off with a list of grievances that were unrelated to the content of the video, it has made me more understanding as to why it would make sense for Thor to leave the company, because he is promoting something that, you know, is a bad look for the publisher. Because he's also talking about this in a way that's seeming like, you know, my views are not my own, but instead my company's, if that makes sense.
is profitable. Now, at the time the initiative launched, well, Rivals of Aether 2 was in development with Off-Brand Games as its publisher. And Rivals of Aether is a live service game, so
It is a really good game, so be
when
careful
Thor
dogging
said
it.
this,
If we don't like the idea of live service games as a whole, I get it. It would impact every live service game that exists.
well, people noticed he was acutely aware of the possible hurdles a game he's helping publish might face if regulation laws were introduced. So trying to entirely twist the initiative's message
It is vague.
and kill it,
Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to.
and completely discredit Ross,
It's used car salesman garbage.
could be seen as beneficial for him.
I am just trying to get this initiative passed. If that means I have to get insulted all along the way, okay.
This shit's
That's based. That's beast mode. That's based. I don't even care about the subject matter. Someone who's willing to go down with the ship like that gets a fucking handshake. I handshake you through the camera. I think you're a real born and bred fucking committer. I think you're dedicated to the cause. I like your vibe. That's how I am with shit. I don't care if I go down with the ship. I just want the ship to go. I think that's real beater mentality. You know what, dude? Ross, I think your name is. We can beat together, dude. We're real beaters.
sucks. Eat my entire ass.
I'd recommend watching Ross's video if you want more details on just how far Pirate Software went to boycott this entire thing. But what makes me angry most of all is firstly how after all this came to light, he still quadrupled down on
He is crazily super duperling down. It is crazy. Now this is where the Dr. K video that I saw comes into relevancy, because I saw a Dr. K video, a clip of Dr. K talking with Pirate Software, and they were talking about ego and pride or whatever the fuck, or narcissism. And Pirate Software was saying, like, I don't think I am in the wrong. I just, like, when I'm trying to convince someone of something, I think I'm just forever trying to show my side, and that if I present my side enough, that'll convince them, because I know I'm in the right, pretty much. And Dr. K was like, that is the most narcissistic shit I've ever heard. And like this
is firstly how after all this came
this
to light,
twit longer
he still quadrupled
is that. That is that. This is bad. This is some shit you type up when you're pissed, but you got your fucking heels dug in and you're not willing to back down. This is a moment where you say, I don't need to do all that. I don't need to do all that. I don't need to go bit by bit defending every single fucking thing I did. You say, hey, I made my points. I stand by most of them, but I can understand. You give some wiggle room to yourself, even if you don't think that if you don't believe it. You say, I understand how they could be misconstrued, or if I went too far, or whatever. It's a half-assed apology, but it's good enough. And then you say your final thoughts. You don't need to do a play-by-play of everything you did. You're just coming off as a sports commentator then. I don't need to see all this. This is getting bogged down in the fucking drama slop of it all. Just fucking talk about the topics at hand. You're allowing yourself to get distracted by the fucking the drama farmers rather than the issue, which is gaming.
Down on most of what he said, even though he was disproven.
That's way too long. It's way too long. It's way too long. It's way too. You shouldn't be saying that. Also, linking your own videos, bad luck. You just seem like you're bragging. Okay? But what he says here of don't, just because I don't support this doesn't mean you should blindly follow me, and that just because I said pretty words on the internet, that's a little hypocritical, dog, because you were kind of implying earlier that you wanted people to just blindly follow you.
Multiple times. Then started
Damn, second response is crazy.
banning and blocking anyone even slightly critiquing him. But also how he tried to guise it as being a selfless hero.
Because I don't want, and this is the real one, I don't want the government telling indies that they have to have their live service game stay online forever. I don't want.
Okay, that is my concern. That's my concern. That's my concern. That's also my concern. So what do you do in a situation? I'm curious what the initiative says about that. I am curious. It doesn't really say anything. Maybe it says something somewhere. That's my also concern. But I guess the easy cop-out solution to that, which they said would be fine, is you just put something in like the Steam review that, hey, once this gets discontinued, it's done. We're done, right? You just put some disclaimer built into the Steam page. Because they said that would be fine. Like, I guess that's a solution. Man, this chair is shedding. Because that's also my concern. But if they said that you can just do a cop-out disclaimer, then I guess that's fine.
Want that. Nobody wants that. But when you're talking about a legal setting to force people to do this, you're generally moving in that direction.
But if that is fine, then how is that also any different than really how it is already? Because already in the end user shit, it's like, we can just shut this shit down.
Doesn't want indie developers experiencing legal trouble, which is very ironic coming from the guy who, unbeknownst to most, threatened to sue a solo indie developer.
Hey, Kronos, we have to file a legal complaint against that dude earlier. We're going to take you to court. You're going to lose.
Maybe I should talk about that for a second. As many of you may know,
Please
a few
do,
months
actually.
ago, a group of content creators formed a guild called OnlyFangs in World of Warcraft Classic Hardcore, a game where if you die on a character, you lose that character permanently. Pirate Software was part of this guild, playing as a mage. Now, not only was he known for pretentiously mocking new players and bullying other mages in the guild, going as far as to say watching them play made him physically sick because obviously he's not like the
That's wild behavior. Hey. Gotta keep it down now, folks. That's wild behavior, okay? Like it or like it. Dislike it or like it. I personally dislike it. But that's why I don't touch the game. Same reason I don't touch League of Legends. Same reason I don't touch Tarkov. Same reason I don't touch Dota. Or Teamfight Tactics. Or the list goes on. Or, what's the card playing one from Blizzard? Not Heroes of the Storm. Hearthstone. I ain't trying to mess with that. It's toxic. I understand. You know, some of these games, they pull out the worst of people. Who am I to judge? Well, I am to judge. I'm to judge based on if you're aware of that behavior, how frequently you engage with that. If you're aware of that behavior, how frequently you allow yourself to become that worst version of yourself. That's how much I judge. That's why we like things when people reform. Like Mango quitting alcohol. Hopefully. I don't know if he said he's going to fully quit. But I hope he does, for his own sake.
other stinky noobs. He is best player out there, cause...
You know what I did before this? I
He worked at Blizzard.
Entertainment.
That is
Okay,
true.
well, at one point, when he and his teammates were streaming and got themselves in a dangerous situation, most of the team tried helping each other survive, while Thor, you know, the guy constantly boasting his hitherto undreamt of skills, ran away and said there was nothing he could do.
Pirate, why are you walking, bro?
What are you talking about? Why am I walking?
This
Look at
is
my mana.
savageable. Come on, man.
Do you see my mana? What am I supposed to do for you?
No, I'm not...
Passive aggressive. Hey, flag on the play. Passive aggressive. It's a yellow card though. It's still wow. This is still wild behavior, folks. This is still wild behavior. Okay, folks. Wild behavior. Now, is that cool in the moment to do? No, it's not. But I understand it. If it's hardcore and you don't want your character to die and you truly think it's a lost cause, then I can understand backing out. I can understand it. I don't know the WoW situation. Maybe he was really that needed and it would have just been that much of a cakewalk if it was there. But it's hardcore. If you're gonna back out, I get it.
Nearly unemployed enough to care about any of that. It's what happened afterwards that started showing his true character. He was caught lying about his resources, actively wasting
Still had a mana potion, cast useless spell to lower his mana. Oh.
them while running away, so he could then claim that there was nothing he could do. And then when confronted, even though there was video proof, still lied about it, blamed everyone but himself, became extremely hostile towards anyone critiquing him.
Because they're goddamn insane. Because this guild has turned into a content guild built on hate. Because they're freaking monsters, dude.
Again,
Okay. Hey. Hey, I'm seeing escalation. I'm seeing escalation. Seeing escalation. Seeing escalation. Calling them freaking monsters, that's a bit much. That's a bit much. That's a bit much, folks. Monster, big M, we save that term. It's not for the light of heart. Okay? I don't know. This feels like very biased presenting, because of course I'm dependent on the subtitles and the way this is being, presented, because I don't know WoW. And so saying that that's a mana potion and that he was using the spells and whatever, like, to me, I believe that I'm forced to believe the subtitles who say that he's wasting the mana. So whatever. Again, this isn't end of the world. It's a horrible look.
Banning and blocking people left and right. Even in debates with team members, he would make everyone respectfully listen to his side thoroughly. But then from the moment other members wanted to share their perspective, left the call like a little child.
Yell over another person like you were doing earlier?
speak?
Nah, I'm good.
You.
See ya.
He eventually got kicked out of the Content Creator Guild, not because he made a mistake, no one really cared about that, but because just as with Stop...
Yeah, it's more of his toxicity and his behavior around it that justifies it. And that's fine. Again, WoW shit. Hey, that's WoW shit. That's WoW shit. You fuck around, you find out. You gonna fuck around? You fuck around? You be in toxic behavior? Hell, you even make the mistake and you leave? That's WoW shit. Hey, that's how it goes.
Killing games, he went in acting as a person with the most skill and authority, ended up shitting the bed, then kept lying to try save grace, and when exposed, acted like a fragile ego toddler getting reprimanded for sticking crayons up his nose, then angrily insisted the adults around him put them there. Anyways, getting to the lawsuit thread, at the time, an indie developer was working on a simple parody game ridiculing embarrassing streamer moments, such as a Pokimane for streamer cookies controversy, or XQC for, being XQC.
Okay, vibes. This is not impartial. If you're showing Pokimane with the Midna, I also don't like the way they're showing her body. That feels weird. That feels, like with her belly, that feels a little weird. But, look, we can acknowledge the Midna was a messy thing.
Streamer cookies controversy, or XQC for, being...
If your only XQC criticism is that he's a degen, you're fucking missing the forest for the trees, pal. There's so much to say about him as of recent. His hilarious fall off into Kick. And this is only since OnlyFans? Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's a Kick in the gambling and stuff. So I can understand. This is not, I want to note, this is not an impartial game. There are biases here. This is a biased reporting of XQC. It's not as blunt as some of the other things, you know? And so, like, we just should keep this in mind.
XQC.
Like, that's a fine XQC clip. You want a bad XQC clip? Show like any from the past year.
Recording of his game on Reddit, including Pirate Software as a cockroach.
As much as you're angry right now, of course I ran.
Which, in the World of Warcraft community, refers to players desperately scurrying away instead of helping their team whenever danger is around. Now, up until that point, no streamer had made any issue of this game existing. And it definitely wasn't going to be the big support.
Hold on. I want to find out the name of this game.
Anyways, getting to the lawsuit thread, at the time, an indie developer was working on a simple parody game,
Idle streaming bonanza. Let's pull this up. 5 streamers, it seems like. XQC, Pokimane, Dr. Disrespect, Tim the Fat Man, Pirate Software. XQC is just him being like Husk. Pirate Software is what we're seeing. I just really dislike the way they showed Poki. I think that's it seems mean-spirited and kind of misogynistic. Not like explicitly, but like patriarchal misogynistic type shit. You know? I think that's just
ridiculing embarrassing
poor
streamer
form.
moments.
Yeah. That's just me.
Such as a Pokimane for streamer cookies controversy, or XQC
I think there's a better way to
for
do that, but whatever.
being XQC. And uploaded a recording of his game on Reddit, including Pirate Software as a cockroach.
As much as you're angry right now, of Of course I ran.
which in the World of Warcraft community refers to players desperately scurrying away instead of helping their team whenever danger is around. Now, up until that point, no streamer had made any issue of this game existing, and it definitely wasn't going to be the big
I'm curious what the Asmongold one is. I'm not buying the game though, it's $5. But I'd be curious what the Asmongold one is. Looks like bloody teeth. No, it doesn't. I have no clue what it is. I don't know. I have weird feelings about it.
big supporter of indie game developers who desperately fought the evil consumer rights initiative Stop Killing Games to prevent indies from imaginary legal repercussions, right? He falsely DMCA'd the game, which is similar to copyright striking on YouTube, meaning it got taken off of the Steam game store. Why, you ask? Well, Thor would likely give an elaborate explanation about how using his voice from stream clips infringes on his copyright.
And said that he was using my voice in a video game, showed a bunch.
Okay, even if it was, that's not copyright infringement. It's just not. It's certainly transformative enough. Now, you want to say it's unnecessary? You can make that argument, sure. But it is certainly transformative. And it's also not like his voice is being, like, financially restricted, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like it's behind a paywall.
Bunch of videos of it, and then put that game up on Steam. Cannot use somebody's likeness or voice in any way inside of your games without their permission.
And he'd probably be correct. Problem being that those voice lines weren't in the published game. The developer just screen recorded on his own PC as a joke. So the developer reached out to Thor clarifying this and then asking if he could drop the false DMCA on his game.
Wait, what? Also, I don't believe that you totally need someone's likeness. I don't believe that. It's about Transformer. It's still copyright shit.
He'd probably be correct.
Likeness in a video game.
Infringes on his copyright.
And said that he was using my voice in a video game, showed a bunch of videos of it, and then put that game up on Steam. Cannot use somebody's likeness or voice in any way inside of your games without their permission.
And he'd probably be correct. Problem being that those voice lines weren't in the published game. The developer just screen recorded on his own PC as a joke. So the developer reached out to Thor
Wait, what? Oh, so he came up with it as a bit, posted it on Reddit, but it wasn't even in the game?
Clarifying this and then asking if he could drop the false DMCA on his game. So obviously Thor did the most kind-hearted and sensible thing.
We're going to take you to court. You're going to lose.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, anytime you're a big creator, you can say, we're going to take you to court. That's like kind of beast. You're saying, we're going to take the fight. As soon as you say you're going to lose, horrible optics. Shows you got an ego. Shows that you think highly of yourself. Shows that you think, we know this shit better than you are. We're going to dominate you. And it also shows them as the underdog. I'm being extra expressive because I'm bored and my throat is starting to hurt. It's bad. Don't do that.
This legal abuse ended up pissing off an actual lawyer who then took the case to fight Pirate Software's false claim for free of charge. Which
That's
there's
really
an entire
funny.
Substack with more details. I'll put it in the description if you're interested. But the situation
I want to see that. We'll read this afterwards.
basically ended as we're now used to, with Thor lying, doubling down, deflecting, and blocking any
Bro, manual autofocus? You gotta switch that to manual, baby.
criticism until he finally dropped the DMCA. He lied about his EVE Online skills to make himself look better, deleting any comments debunking them. He lied about TV show Mr. Robot to go viral. Again,
What?
deleting the comments questioning his claims. He abuses his huge audience to match report players he dislikes.
He began assaulting lobby caravans and threatening to get solo players banned who lashed out at him when he zerged their caravans with 40 players.
Oh, hey, wait, this guy's going to get banned from the video game. I'm going to report the shit out of this guy.
Tech, there's allegations with proof. He even fakes his voice to sound deeper.
It's our first time out here at Denver Comic Con.
Okay, I don't believe the fucking fake voice. The fake voice, who gives a fuck? I don't care. I don't have enough time on this earth to give a shit if he fakes his voice or not.
And there's so many people, and they love the games.
That's just a really tinny microphone.
This is complete garbage.
It's a really tinny microphone, and he has a very bass boosted microphone.
All of this can eat shit then.
He keeps lying to make himself look better. What are you, the Elon Musk of Twitch? Why does he think he can keep doing this? Why does he get to enforce his elitist thoughts as undisputed facts throughout the online game dev community?
I worked at Blizzard for 7 years.
Yes, we know, but that doesn't give you the right to...
I've been in the gaming industry for about 20 years. I used to work at Blizzard Entertainment.
Dude, I hate... Okay, this pisses me off. The, like, direct-to-camera, like, yo. Like, taking it so much more seriously. If you're just gonna do it to shit on something, I don't know.
I said we know! Although you never really were a game developer there, were you? See, he got into Blizzard through nepotism because his dad had an important role there.
My dad is the WoW guy from South Park. He was the cinematic director for Blizzard for 23 years.
And half his time there was spent as QA or test engineer, meaning he wasn't a game dev. No, he tested what the game developers made. And then the rest of his career there focused on cybersecurity. Again, not game development. They are two entirely different ways of working, and I can see that because for someone constantly critiquing others, his code, while potentially good in other roles, is fucking terrible for game development. That's probably the main reason his Kickstarter game is now so delayed. People are now asking for refunds. And I'm not saying that any of those jobs are less important than that of a game dev. I have friends in cybersecurity and I would not know how to do their job.
Wait, his game still isn't out? I just assumed that it was. For how fucking much he talks about it and how proud he talks about it and how much other people seem to talk about it, I thought it was out. He talks about it like he's accomplished. Is it just the demo that's out, maybe? Heartbound. Demo is out. Okay. That explains. Overwhelmingly negative. Well, he's getting review bombed, let's be fair. Release date 2018. Still early access.
And QA is crucial and often sadly looked down upon because frankly, a lot of people in the game dev industry are elitist, which is why I made this video, because I hate the elitist rhetoric Thor spews. It brings me back to my time studying for my game dev bachelor's in university, where so many students would act kind, but then use bragging, lies, or insults to fabricate authority over you and make everyone around them feel inferior. Third years would degrade first years. Even teachers would support the idea of looking down on students studying in IT fields outside of game development. And I fucking hated it. It made me develop imposter syndrome. So I couldn't stand seeing a popular streamer normalize this behavior because it shouldn't be. It's already so common that my recruiter at Arrowhead Game Studios told me he screened me for it, because if they don't, they'll often recruit ego trippers like that, incapable of dealing with criticism, who are unable to function in a team setting so often that they gave them the nickname Brilliant Dicks. Because they act brilliant, but really they're just dicks.
That's awful, dude. No. Eat my entire ass.
Just know that if you were, like me, on the receiving end of such individuals and ended up feeling inferior because of it, try to ignore them and focus on proving them wrong. I didn't know jack shit about game development or programming at the start of my bachelor's, yet at the end, I ended up completing challenges that they couldn't, because instead of learning from the people around them, they were too busy sniffing their own farts. Can I confidently say that Thor is a confirmed narcissist? No, because I don't have a psychology degree to back it up. What I can say, however, is that while Thor might believe that he's some uniquely gifted genius deserving to look down on everyone around him, well, for me, he's just another brilliant dick.
I can see how easy it is to manipulate people emotionally to gain money on the internet.
Yeah,
don't ever even want to get near that.
So
I don't know, man. That seems messy situation. My thoughts. I think it's bad. Yeah, man, I don't know. I think it's messy for indie game devs, because what he said is true about, like, you don't want them to forever have to keep doing it until eternity. Hosting their game until eternity, but apparently that's not what they're for. So if that's not what they're for, that's not what they're for. I would want proper protections in place in the Stop Killing Games initiative so that it would protect indie game devs, but I don't know what that would be. And I would also want it fully realized of what do you do for games like live service games when it is like it's the end of their rope. How do they wrap it up without just being like, oh, it's single player now? I don't know. I'm distracted scrolling Twitter. I think Thor talks a lot. I think he should talk less. I think he should realize that sometimes it doesn't matter too much to defend every single point, and that sometimes it's better to just say what you think is important to say, what the verdict should be. Because it's easy. That's what, like, I almost did that with when I was working on the school board video. I almost did that. My original script was just like, and there's this shit, and there's this shit, and there's this shit, and they did this, and then they did this, and then they did this. But it's like, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Then you just seem like a fucking born and bred hater who's just making a compilation of all their L's. And it's just, you're getting too lost in the details. Like, you can pick and choose all this shit and all your talking points as much as you want, but you need to make a clear, comprehensive point as to your idea. And so if you're getting too bogged down, it's that long Twitter thread that really, I think, turned me off. You're getting too bogged down into defending yourself. You're focusing on defending yourself rather than this initiative, which is what people are seemingly trying to talk about. So that's what I would talk about, but you're not talking about that.